So let's first understand what is panel data. You might have heard about time series data and cross-section data. So let me give examples of time series data and cross-section data. The time series data looks like this. You have got the stock price of a particular stock over a period of time, continuous period of time. So you have got stock price for 1st December, for 2nd December, 3rd December and 4th of December. So you have stock price data for 4 consecutive days. So that's time series because it has data for different time periods. And the difference between the consecutive time period is constant because it is only 1 day difference data, right? So this is called time series data. So what is cross-section data? In cross-section data, you won't have the time component. So here is an example. We have got data for different cities in United States for a particular year. Let's say the year is 2014. So for 2014, we have got data for 3 cities, Florida, California and New York. We have got the population in millions, average income, percentage educated, and then the rainfall. Okay, so I've got data for different cities for a single time period, and that's important. Single time period. Okay, so in cross-section data, you will have data for different cross-sections only for a one time period. Okay, whereas in time series, you have only one kind of data. For instance, here we have the stock price, but for different time periods. So that's the difference between time series and cross-section data. Now, what is panel data? Well, panel data is just some kind of a combination. The way if you combine time series aspect and the cross-section aspect of data, then we get a panel data. So let's take an example to understand. So here is an example. So remember in the last slide we talked about a data set which has got information about different cities in United States. So we've got data for Florida, California and New York. So we've got data for population, average income, percentage educated, rainfall, and we have got another column here which is time. Remember in the previous slide we talked about the cross-section data which has got data for only 2014. But here we have got the same data for 2015 as well. Now here we have data for 2 years. Okay, 2 years, or in general we have got data for multiple years. Okay, or more than 1 year. So in that case we call this as a panel data because we have got cross-section data for multiple years. Now this is our cross-section data. So this is the data that we had in the previous slide. So this is the cross-section and this gets repeated for 2015 as well, and you can extend to 2016 and so on. You can also go to 2013, 12, 11 and 10, and that is panel data for the 3 different cities. Now what is the main feature of panel data? Well, the main feature of panel data is that it has got cross-section component and it has also got time series component. The same cross-section gets repeated over time. Okay, the values will of course change, but the same cross-section. So we have got three cities, right? So we have got data for the same 3 cities for the next year as well. So it combines both cross-section and time series, is known as panel data. So we learned about analyzing such a data and how it is different from cross-section. Why can't we use the cross-section techniques used for cross-section data analysis in panel data analysis in detail. So please be with us. Okay, let's move on. Panel data can be categorized into two types. One is balanced panel data and the other one is unbalanced panel data. So what is a balanced panel data? If you look at the right hand side of the data set, so this one. So this is the one that we have taken from the previous slide. Okay, so this is called balanced panel. Why? Because we have got data for the three cross sections, and then we have got data for exactly the three cross sections without missing out on any one of them. But what if we miss out on just at least one of them? In that becomes unbalanced panel data. If you look at the left hand side of the data, you see that we have got data for Florida, California, but the data for New York is missing. Whereas we have got the data for New York for 2015, but for 2014, the data for New York is missing. So this is called unbalanced, where you have different cross section. It's not the same set of cross sections which are getting repeated for the next year. It is a different set of cross section which is there for the next year. So if any one of these is missing, which often happens in panel data analysis, where we could come across cases where we have got missing data, that becomes unbalanced panel data. And the analysis used for balanced and unbalanced panel data is different in some sense. In this particular session, we'll talk mostly about the balanced panel data. So what are the important features of panel data which makes it different from the ordinary data or data which is not panel data, for instance of the cross-section data? Well, the panel data allows the control over variables we cannot observe or measure. Okay, and we'll understand this. So what is that we cannot observe? Okay, in great detail. So what happens is that in panel data, if we take the example from the previous slide, we have got population for a particular city, let's say Florida. Okay, so we have got 10 million, and then the next year the population for Florida is 12 million. So not only we are having the data for Florida for a particular year, we are having it for different years. So we know the trend that is there in this particular data. So we have two advantages of having panel data. We have got trend, okay, within the variable, okay, and we have also got variation across variables. Okay, so that is a combination of the features of panel, the features of cross section and time series, and that makes it interesting to analyze. And some of the aspects of research require your data to be time variant, and at the same time having some sort of cross section features as well. Some of the unobserved components which do not get captured in cross section analysis are like the examples like culture and ethical. Okay, now for instance, if you are doing analysis of a population data, if you are doing an analysis of a population data for a particular year, let's say 2014, you wouldn't be able to find out how certain aspect of the population is changing over time. Okay, for instance, the cultural aspect, the ethical aspect. If you do an analysis for 20 years, let's say you're doing an analysis from 85 to 2015, so you're doing analysis for 30 years, a lot of things would have changed about the population. People aren't the same what they used to be 30 years ago. So there are certain aspects of the population that changes over time. Okay, so that can only be captured in a panel data analysis and not in a cross-section data analysis, and that's one of the important features of panel data. It also accounts for the individual heterogeneity. Okay, that means how within the individual things change. For instance, how the population is changing over time for Florida and how it is changing for New York. Okay, so one can compare how Florida is the certain feature of the state Florida is changing over time compared to New York. So the comparison is also possible in panel data. How do we analyze panel data? Okay, is it the same that we normally use for cross section? So important thing is that it has got both the features, time series and cross section. So the question here is, can we use the ordinary least square? Can we use the OLS? Okay, and what are the problems that one might face by applying the ordinary least square regression in doing the analysis? Okay, now there is going to be problems. Okay, there are problems using OLS in panel data analysis. Okay, not always though, but there are instances where you will have problems, and one of the main reasons why you will have problems is because you will have correlated errors. We'll talk about it, and when there are correlated error terms. Okay, now you might wonder why the errors are correlated in panel data. We'll talk about it. Okay, if there are correlated errors, then this will violate some of the assumption of OLS, and that's something to be taken care very carefully. Otherwise, there is going to be issue. A typical OLS model looks something like this: yi is equal to the estimates a plus b xi plus error term. Whereas a model form for panel data looks like this: yit. So the extra component or the extra thing here is the time component. So I stands for the cross section, t stands for the time series. Let's go both the components, right? For instance, in our example, I stands for here the cities, New York, Florida, and so on, and time stands for different time period, 2014, 2015, and so on. Okay. Now, in this particular case, you will see that the errors will most likely to be correlated for a particular cross section. If you take the population for Florida over time, over 2014, 2015, 2016, and even before that, you'll most likely find the population to be very correlated among themselves, right? Hence, the error term are also most likely to be correlated, and that is an issue in OLS. Okay, so either that has to be corrected before using OLS, or you can use alternative technique. We'll see how we can deal with this problem and how we can overcome this problem while doing panel data analysis. And yes, so for that we'll take a case. We'll take a simple case. So what we're trying to do here is we're trying to predict, we are trying to rather understand the relationship between the salaries of employees with different covariates or different independent variables. Okay, the independent variables are the experience of the employee, the projects, the number of projects that the employee has taken up in his career, and the education, number of years of education the employee has. Now these are the three covariates, and we have got the logarithm of salary as the dependent variable. So this is the dependent variable, and the independent variables are experience, projects, and education. Okay, so we will have a model like this, right? There will be three estimates, and we have the experience, then projects, and then education. Okay. All right. So the model will look like this. Now, question is, why do we take a logarithm of salary instead of salary? Well, in some research, people take logarithm of certain variables so as to have a better model, and one of the reason they take is to reduce the variance. That's one of the reason, and there are other reasons as well. Okay. So we've taken the logarithm of salary as the dependent variable, and we've got three independent variables. So this data is available for different time periods. Okay, and we have got different employees. So for employee ID 1, we have got data for 7 years, right? If you look at this data, employee ID 1, we have got data for time point 1, time point 2, time point 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. So for seven consecutive years, we have got the data for the employee. All right. Now, how do we build a model? Okay. Remember the model that we are trying to build here. We are trying to have a regression model which explains that explains the relationship between the factors like experience, number of projects, and number of years of education with salary. So what we're trying to know here is the marginal effect, like how experience impact the salary of someone. We're also trying to know the relationship in terms of the sign, whether it has a positive effect or negative effect, and so on. Pretty much similar to the multiple linear regression, just that the structure of the data is different in this case.